Hi everyone, especially our friends in India. I want to talk to you about the situation in Bangladesh. It's truly bizarre how policymakers, experts, and media personnel in India are failing to understand the changed political landscape. Let me be clear. Sheikh Hasina is out and you'll never find another puppet like her again. You need to accept this reality. For 15 years, you chose to ignore our nuances. Media labeled anyone advocating for democracy and sporting a beard as a Pakistani agent. Ironically, none of these so-called agents fled to Pakistan during 15 years of brutality, even though one of the largest Bangladeshi communities outside Bangladesh is probably in Karachi. Here's the twist. The alleged Indian stooges actually fled to India after the regime's collapse. According to ordinary Bangladeshis, all the criminals from the last regime have taken refuge in India. The most hated Bangladeshi in its history is now hosted in a Lachan's house in Delhi. Try to understand this. You should return these criminals to Bangladesh, not as a bargaining chip, but as a goodwill gesture. Sheikh Hasina and her cronies have committed unspeakable atrocity against humanity. The entire nation is united against this despotic regime. If you resist this force, you'll only lose. The sooner you accept this reality, the better it is for our bilateral relations. You won't find another Hasina, and you have to deal with it. In this backdrop, what Indian media is trying to achieve is only going to worsen the situation. The amount of misinformation and disinformation peddled in Indian media is mind-boggling. I have often wondered, are these people even real? Or they are AI-generated cartoons? I hope some of you understand Bengali. Look at this man first. He is a professional working for a real TV channel.
অ্যানিমেটেড ওয়ালে গিয়ে দেখানোর চেষ্টা করব ঠিক কি বাংলাদেশ করছে। দেখুন 2004 সালের পুনরাবৃত্তি আবার হতে চলেছে 2024-এ, এরকমই আশঙ্কা করছে যারা ডিফেন্স এক্সপার্ট আছে, এবং শুধুমাত্র ভারতবর্ষের ডিফেন্স এক্সপার্ট না, বাংলাদেশের ডিফেন্স এক্সপার্ট তারাও বলছে বাংলাদেশ এক ভয়ঙ্কর পথে যাচ্ছে। যে জাহাজ আপনারা দেখছেন করাচি থেকে, যে জাহাজগুলো এরপর বাংলাদেশে আসবে, পেঁয়াজ নাকি আছে, আলু নাকি আছে, পটল, বেগুন, এই সমস্ত কিছু আছে, ফ্লাই অ্যাশ নাকি আছে, কিন্তু আসলে সেই পেঁয়াজ যখন খোলা হচ্ছে, পেঁয়াজের খোলস যখন ছাড়ানো হচ্ছে, তখন তার থেকে হয়তো অস্ত্র বেরোবে, হয়তো গ্রেনেড বেরোবে, হয়তো আরডিএক্স বেরোবে, হয়তো অ্যামিউনিশনস বেরোবে, এবং এই সমস্ত কিছু, আবারও বলছি, এই সমস্ত কিছু দুদিকে যাবে।
The guy is so laughable and embarrassing that I find it hesitant to give any importance. Borat Sagdev was a better journalist. Unfortunately, the entire media landscape in India is not so different. Their ignorance about Bangladesh is staggering. A one-legged chicken knows more about masturbation, I'm afraid. Your portrayal of Bangladesh is consistently one-dimensional, that Hindus are in danger and Muslims will kill them all. Let me ask you something. If Hindus were truly in danger, wouldn't there be a flood of Hindu refugees into India? Where are they? The hatred here is towards the Awami regime's collaborators, similar to how Germans feel about Nazis or Italians about fascists. These hated people are mostly Muslims, with some Hindus too. What your media is doing is picking up their Hindu identity at the forefront and trying to portray them as being targeted because they are Hindus. This is to create a religious narrative of a political problem. I watched an interview by India Today where the interviewer, acting like an activist, grilled a Bangladeshi journalist, trying to give a picture that Munni Shah was harassed by the mob because she is a Hindu journalist. No. Munni Shah was harassed because she is a corrupt Awami sympathizer. Allegedly, she has illegally gathered $11 million. What kind of journalist in your country has $11 million in his bank account? Now, to say Munni Shah was harassed because she is a Hindu is deeply problematic and dishonest. If you come to Bangladesh, everyone, I repeat, everyone above the IQ of 83 understands this difference. No matter if you're a Muslim, Hindu, or Christian, if you are an Awami sympathizer or a beneficiary of the last regime, you are in problem here. That part is true. And there are reasons for that. These are the people who sucked life and soul out of this nation. But Indian media wants to cherry pick the Hindu Awami sympathizer as if he or she is hated because of her religion. Many prominent Hindus have publicly stated they are not persecuted. In fact, some claim that the situation for them is much better now. But the Indian media insists on turning a political issue into a religious one. ISKCON in India and ISKCON in Bangladesh are not the same organization. You need to understand this. I agree that ISKCON priest Chinmoy Das was unfairly treated by the Bangladeshi government. And I also agree that a sedition charge for hoisting a saffron flag over the Bangladeshi flag is overboard. I get that. No one interested in legal representation in the court of law is embarrassing, I confess. But you should at least attempt to understand the scenario here. ISKCON is not viewed here as a Hindu religious organization. Why? Because they chant Joy Sri Ram, which is a political slogan of RSS, not a religious chant. Bengali Hindus never chanted that mantra. On top of that, Sri Chinmoy Das has publicly given inflammatory speeches charged with political rhetoric. I found most commentators in India don't know or choose to hide the fact that he was disciplined by the international ISKCON governing body. We're not 100% certain who brought the charges, but the disciplinary measures clearly indicate he was disciplined because of pedophilia charges. This is a serious allegation. Now, your media choosing to be ignorant of this fact does not necessarily mean that we don't know this. I request you to compare the situation here with the Indian political landscape. Imagine a Muslim cleric is brought to the court. He is denied bail. An angry Muslim mob hacks court official on the court premises. What would happen in India the next day? If you're honest, I think you'd agree that RSS leaders would call for revenge. There would be a full-scale communal riot for at least 24 hours. Well, nothing like that happened in Bangladesh. Chinmoy supporters actually did hack a court official who had nothing to do with this case. And most of these killers were indeed Hindus. Remember, not one political leader called for revenge. It was a huge national event for at least 2 days. And yet, not one Hindu was killed in revenge. Instead, political and social media actors tried to cool down the heat. You never acknowledge this. Look at this video. It's the consulate of Bangladesh High Commission in Agartala. An angry Hindu mob entered their premises and vandalized the place. This is the most horrible breach of Vienna Convention I have witnessed in my life. You simply don't barge into the embassy and vandalize the place, even if the countries are at war. Did the Bangladeshis go for a tit-for-tat altercation? Please try to understand Bangladeshis are not inviting animosity. It is the Indian media which is acting irresponsibly. The result of such Bangladesh hate is this vandalism. The Hindus here are not in danger. There is no systemic violence or repression against the Hindus. Police officers are not sacked because they are Hindus. Thousands of Awami police officers have been sacked because they killed the protester in July and August. The majority of these killers and crooks are Muslims. Some are Hindus too. But to say that they are sacked because of their religion is simply a lie. The minorities are not unsafe here. Yes, it's a third world country. You can't compare the situation here with, let's say, Australia. I agree. Isolated events do happen which are embarrassing. But truth be told, minorities in Bangladesh are no less safe than in India or Pakistan. We are probably not as good as Sri Lanka, but we are better than India or Pakistan. We take pride in it, and we want to improve ourselves. The real problem with Indian media's Bangladesh hate is this. It is used and aimed for local politics of India. It doesn't help Hindus of Bangladesh simply because this portrayal is most of the time untrue. I don't understand why Indian mainstream media has this insatiable urge to portray that India and Hindus are always under threat. Sometimes it's Pakistan, sometimes it's Bangladesh, and other times it's China. The most contradictory thing is they also want to project that India is an emerging superpower. If it is a superpower, why should it be challenged by Bangladesh? Or for that matter, by Pakistan? The reality is, ordinary people of Bangladesh and India do not want this animosity. It is harmful for both the countries and their trade relationship. Indian foreign policy in Bangladesh has completely failed. The pundits and government officials have entirely misread the ground reality in Bangladesh. It seems to me that it is impossible for an Indian official to grasp the idea that a Bengali Muslim can dislike or even hate the Indian government without hating or disliking Hindus in general. Remember, Nepal is a Hindu majority country. We have zero intolerance towards Nepal. The Indian government backed a hated despot and gave a blank check to an illegal regime for 15 years. More than 10,000 people were wounded and thousands of innocent people were killed by regime-backed police just 4 months ago. Hindus were killed too. The Indian government did not raise a word of concern back then. It was internal matter of Bangladesh. Great. One Hindu priest was taken to court. He's not punished yet, nor is he attacked by the mob. And the Indian government says it's a matter of great concern. How does it look? Try to understand this as if you were a Bangladeshi. The people-to-people relationship between India and Bangladesh has been destroyed, not by the people of Bangladesh, but by the Indian government. It seems that you are in denial. This helps none. You need to understand that what you have achieved in the last 15 years was an anomaly. You can never repeat it. You won't find another lapdog like Sheikh Hasina. The sooner you realize this, the better it is for the people of India and Bangladesh. And I think at this stage, what the Indian government should do is to return Hasina and her cronies who are hiding in India back to Bangladesh. This would prove your seriousness about the issue. And you must do it as a mark of goodwill, not as a bargaining chip. Thank you.